What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got wonderful news about a lovely new promo set, which is coming out over in Japan. Now, this does have to be purchased from the Bandai online lobby over in Japan, so I'm not entirely sure how we get these over here. Oh, well, okay. Over here, they're just going to be released and we're going to be able to buy them, like, all the time. That's fine. Or maybe they end up as promos, or box office, things of that nature. But again, that's absolutely fine. Trying to buy the Japanese versions over here, therein lies the issue. But what we've got is a set of 6 level 3s, 1 for each colour, and they're all security cards, and there's a Pokemon, and I'm very happy indeed. So starting off with Huckmon then, all of these Digimon are free cost to play normally, 0 cost to Digivolve, 2000 power, which is honestly extremely standard for a level 3 of a decent skill, nothing particularly out of the ordinary. And what we got with Huckmon is a security. At the end of the battle, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4000 power or less, but if no Digimon were deleted by this effect, draw 1 card instead, and then put this card into your hand. So regardless, this card goes into your hand, but it's a question of whether you can either delete a Digimon or draw a card. Either way, this seems pretty gosh darned cool. I like this more than I like most security Digimon. And of course, going and getting a level 3 into your hand is clearly a good thing, because of course we always want level 3s in our hand, so that we can Digivolve up your level 3s from your level 2s and all of that good stuff. I like this. This one seems cool. I should mention our translations come from the lovely folks at Ensign Gaming and the lovely folks at DigimonCard.dev. Now, Bluecomon here, what we got is a free cost to play normally, 0 cost to Digivolve, 2000 power like all of them, and it's a security. At the end of the battle, draw 2, then add this card to your hand. Nice. I mean, clearly in terms of draw power, it makes a mockery of Huckmon, but Huckmon's really there to try and delete one of your opponent's weaker Digimon, not necessarily to draw cards. But, and I've made this point many times, I'm going to make it many more, drawing cards is just not something Digimon sees very often at all. You know, if you go over to DigimonCard.dev and you go searching for level 3 Digimon that can draw 2, it's very slim pickings. About the best option, we've got the BT7 Gomamon. When you play it, you draw 2 cards, but it must be played from your Digivolution card. You can't just play it normally, which is a little bit awkward. And then we've got the Higuramon. When you play it, you may trash a Digimon card with Machine or Cyborg to draw 2 cards. I suppose we've also got the Gabumon from BT2, but firstly, it's an inheritable skill, making it much more awkward to use. And secondly, sure, you draw 2, but you also have to then trash 1, so yeah. In terms of just drawing 2, nah. Now, of course, it's not that simple. You've got to play it as a security card, and generally speaking, right, 5 security cards, 50 card deck. If you put one of these cards in your deck, you're going to have like a 10% chance of it actually ending up in your security. Obviously, then the more copies you play, the more likely it is this will end up in your security. But the point is, it's drawing 2, and to put it very bluntly, drawing 2 is just not something we see very often in the Digimon TCG. This is a very nice skill, and as far as security cards go, this one's great. Now, moving over to yellow, because we do have one for each typing here, we've got ourselves a Harrismon, and at the end of the battle, one of your opponent's Digimon gets security attack -2 for the turn, then add this card to your hand. All of them do seem to be just added to your hand at the end after you've got the skill. And this doesn't seem fair. Like, this doesn't seem right. Because, why? Like, seriously, when Bluecomon's drawing 2, and that is a very rare skill that we, you know, only see on very occasional Digimon, and then we got security attack -1. I mean, Tinkermon from BT6 got it as a deletion skill, or Elecmon from EX1's got it as a deletion skill, an inheritable deletion skill, but still, it's there as a deletion skill. I like security attack -1, I like that my opponent can't do as much stuff, etc. But I do think it's very fair to say that compared to like Draw 2, this seems like a very underpowered skill. Now, Pulsemon is the one I'm getting particularly excited about, because it's Pulsemon, right? I love me some Pulsemon. Love this artwork. Pulsemon is amazing. Also why I need to try and source this card somehow. I'm sure it can't be that difficult. And what happens here is, at the end of the security battle, you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. It's Flower Cannon as a security card, and then this goes into your hand and you can play from there. And I'm kind of torn here, because on the one hand, I should be saying, like I just did, oh, you know, suspending Digimon, it's a nice skill, but let's face it, we've seen it before. On the other hand, it's Pulsemon, and I want to love it. Now, I will say, as a security card, it's basically coming out on your opponent's turn, and I actually really like it in that context, because essentially your opponent attacks your stack, out comes Pulsemon, and then you can suspend another Digimon they're thinking of attacking with. Or if there's a Digimon they're not attacking with because they want to make sure you can't attack and delete it next turn, well, you can then just attack them because you've suspended them using Pulsemon. So I do love the idea of suspending your opponent's Digimon on their turn right before it comes into your turn. I do think there is a lot of mileage that can be gained there. Doraemon comes in with black, and as a security card, at the end of the battle, you reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a black Digimon with a play cost of 4 or less, you may play it without paying its memory cost. Add the remaining cards to your hand, then add this card to your hand. So worst case scenario, you draw one and get this card, which is kind of like Huckmon and not as good as Bluecomon, but that's the worst case scenario. The best case scenario is that you get to play a card for free. And sure, it's not always going to work. You are only looking at the top card of your deck. You're looking at one card, one shot, one chance, and if you don't hit, boo, hiss, etc. And that's a little bit sad. But then, by the same token, you can play a card for free. And like I say, if it fails, you still draw one and get this card. It's not perfect, but it's still fine. But playing a card for free, getting this card in your hand, and it doesn't say you can't activate play skills, which means you do activate play skills. I really like Doraemon. Doraemon and Bluecomon for me are the ones that really do stand out as being something a little bit special. And then maybe Impmon. Now here, and I know the artwork is going to make some people very happy, apparently Impmon and Beelstarmon are just pals who appear in a bunch of artwork together. Cool. And at the end of the battle, you may play one purple level 3 Digimon from your trash without paying its memory cost. And once again, I think it's very important to point out, it does not say you don't use play skills. Ergo, any play skills that might be on that Digimon, you totally get to use them. And that's ridiculous. You're playing a card for free and you're getting the play skills. And sure, there are a bunch of other cards that will allow you to do this in purple, but you're playing a Digimon for free, and you get a choice, and you get the play skills, and then Impmon goes into your hand. I really like this one. I do think three of them are better than the others, but that does not mean they are not all kind of interesting and fun. But it turns out these are not the only cards coming, because it would appear that if you go and get these 6 security Digimon, you also go and get yourself a set of 6 reprinted cards as well, which seems kind of fun and honestly just makes me want these a bit more. So we'll go for these a bit more quickly because they are reprints, we've seen them before. We got a reprint of Judgment of the Blade from BT6. That's the one where one of your Digimon with Huckmon in its name or Royal Knight in its type can attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon for the turn, which is obviously super annoying because generally they've got to be suspended. Being able to attack unsuspended Digimon, that's it's a pretty big advantage. We got a reprint of Absolute Blast, that 6-cost option card that trashes the bottom Digivolution card of one of your opponent's Digimon, and then returning one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards to the bottom of its owner's deck. Important to note, they do not have to be the same ones. That is very, very important. So you can get rid of a Digivolution card from one, but then actually take advantage of a different one. We've then got the alternate art of, and I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, I apologise, Qualialize Blast. and its memory cost is equal to the number of cards in your security stack. And then one of your opponent's Digimon loses 3,000 power for the turn, and one of your Razamon gains security attack +1 for the turn. Okay, it's pretty much just for Razamon, but you know what? If you're playing a Razamon deck, that sounds pretty gosh darned good. Now, if you find Shivamon rather intriguing, as I do, got pretty good news for you on that front, because we are also getting ourselves an alternate art reprint of that card I just cannot pronounce, but it lets you suspend one of your Digimon to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers, and then that one doesn't unsuspend when it usually would on your opponent's next turn, which is clearly kind of hilarious. And let's not forget, the whole Shivamon deck really wants to have your own Digimon suspended, so this is pretty gosh darned cool. We then, and by now you've probably guessed, right, we're going to be having one for each colour. That seems honestly both fair and sensible, which is rather nice. The black card we see coming in here is Brave Metal. Deletes one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 6 or less, and if you have a Digimon with 5 or more Digivolution cards and X antibody in its type, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon without X antibody in its type instead. So as long as you're playing the right kind of deck, you can, well, basically get rid of almost any Digimon you like here, which is clearly great. And then, because apparently we hadn't talked about Beelstarmon enough in this video already, so we got ourselves an alternate art reprint of Fly Bullet. If you have a Digimon with 3 Musketeers in its type in play, you can use it without meeting its colour requirements, and it deletes one of your opponent's level 6 or lower Digimon. But remember, it's a 7-cost option card, and the Musketeers kind of like 7-cost option cards. I don't think that's a particularly controversial statement. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, 6 new security Digimon and 6 wonderful alternate art option cards. I think we can all agree these look pretty gosh darned awesome. But now I want to hear from you guys. Which of these do you think look like the best? Would you want to pick these ones up? How much do you want them to come over here in English? Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.